Very good afternoon, Jason, and a very good afternoon, everyone. What a fascinating match we've got for you here in the Crucible Theatre this afternoon. You'll really enjoy this one. Two of the quickest players ever to play the game. They've only played each other on one occasion, and Thepchaiya won that 5-4. That was the German Masters back in 2014. And that's a pretty good safety shot, although it's just ran a bit too far, and a chance for Ronnie to pot his first ball in this year's Betfred World Championship.
One.
Just look at the pace of the table. That white just keeps on running, but he's okay. The number of the all-time greats who seem to be able to start a match with a frame-winning contribution. It happens so many times.
Six.
The gentleman sitting next to me has done it on many, many occasions where he opens up with a century break. What do you think, Steve? Looking forward to this one?
Yeah. Can't believe there's anybody in the snooker world who's not. And it is great if you can get off to a flying start in a match. It's a wonderful asset to have. I think it comes from having a great mentality for match play. Yes, you're nervous, but you're confident enough in your own ability. Oh, an excellent shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan for not much reward.
90.
Green, red does go past the green. Could have expected a better outcome than that. Well, he was a little way out with that, but could count himself a little unlucky with the split there.
So no lift off from the rocket. And a little bit of an edgy one there from Thepchaiya. Big day for this very popular player from Bangkok. That red right over the pocket's causing quite a problem now. If you take the cue ball up to the bulk end of the table, you've got to be making sure that you cover it. And I don't think that's hard enough, is it? Just, but he can swerve it. It doesn't look as if he's trying to pot it, because he wasn't playing it with any swerve.
It's a dangerous shot to play from Thepchaiya there, but may all of a sudden given Ronnie O'Sullivan a problem. Looks like he's playing safe, doesn't it? Although he doesn't know if he can hit the edge enough. Complete miss hit there. Where's this red going?
It's not an easy chance though. The red's easy, but where's the next colour coming from? Pink tied up, black very awkward at present.
One.
And the blue's off its spot somewhat. Now this red is dropping on. At least it'll clear the path for the black into the same pocket. But still far from easy, this opportunity. Taking the other red.
7.
So the pink obviously goes to the middle. But it's all gone wrong.
He didn't really get into that.
30.
Didn't get enough screw back on the cue ball. Perhaps a bit more worried about the pot, or maybe just a little bit of tension in the arm. Going to find out a lot more about Thepchaiya Un-Nooh this afternoon. He's obviously a player improving. He's going up the rankings. He's got a new attitude for the game, which is good to see, finally. He's a threat to any player in the game.
13.
And whilst Thepchaiya would have been a bit disappointed to have picked Ronnie, I'm sure Ronnie was very aware. Oh no, has he left this? Oh, what was that? Was that a foul, was it? I don't know, it's weird what happened there.
It just sounded like a push.
No, it wasn't a foul, just completely misjudged whether he could get through the gap. Sounded weird, didn't it?
He's had a bit of a result really where he's finished. This is not easy. The more pace he puts into it, the more difficult the pot is.
The speed at which Ronnie O'Sullivan got down to play that red through the pack, it was obviously very tight. I wonder if he's deciding to just play with an unusual amount of freedom and just play at the speed of Un-Nooh and just have a bash up. Excellent shot. How easy does he make those look?
Yeah, especially using the opposite hand.
I mean, he looks slightly more ungainly left-handed, doesn't he? But when he actually delivers the cue, it's still super smooth.
Four.
And straight away removing the red that was preventing the black from potting, cleared the path for the black. And well, this is his second decent chance. Let's see how many he can make this time.
12.
He's got to get to 66 there, as you see. He's only 35 away from that.
13.
This could well be one of the quickest matches ever seen at the Crucible Theatre, regardless of how the frames go.
And the fastest guns in
20.
the west and the east. Cues at 2 meters.
21. $28. 29. 36. $37.
Referee's going to have to be pretty quick this afternoon. Marcel Eghart, one of our top referees
44.
from Germany.
You need the extended rest? Yeah. Have you been not informed? Once the frame finished or a century, there's going to be applause.
Yes, Ronnie wasn't sure what that was all about. That was applause from the other table, not from people. If they make a century break, they get applause, and at the end of a frame, someone's pressing a button backstage from World Snooker.
Can you do it underneath the table, please? Yes, please. I'm afraid. Yeah. Thank you. 45.
Yeah, Ronnie got to put the extensions back himself. The referee can't touch them. He's needed a couple of bites of the cherry, but he looks very fluent
52.
here with this effort.
53.
Just under 4 minutes and the frame's safe. That's for this break here.
$60. 61. $68. 69. 74. 76.
Well, that's proving the case that I mentioned about the all-time greats starting a match with a century break. I've seen it so many times
79.
from my colleague here, Steve Davis, Stephen Hendry. The number of times they got off to a flyer was amazing.
83.
It's gone just a little bit too far on the blue. It's going to need a good
88.
pink to hold for the black to make the century. Superb.
94.
Well,
Good start for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Trademark left-handed break-off from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Not hidden the red, though.
that was far from easy, and he's left a possible pot on for Thepchaiya. Slightly easier if they're tight on the cushion rather than just away from it. He looks very edgy at the start of this session here. I agree with John Parrott. Ronnie was very fortunate when he messed up and left everything safe, but Thepchaiya needs something easy just to relax him and settle him down.
One.
Same type of shot, but straight in the middle of the pocket there from Ronnie. And there could be quite a few to follow, looking at the way the balls are situated here.
8. Nine.
Just for a minute, Ronnie wondered if it was going to wobble and stay out, but the best free-flying snooker player we've ever seen. Very rarely does he ever have too much time thinking about his positional shot. Spoiled for choice there with 3. Can forgive him for that
17.
one.
And I know it's very early days, but you could sense there that Ronnie knows that they're all black so far. Have to forget about it
24.
now. He's not the correct side here.
25.
Had to play for the blue on this occasion. Of course, if any player does make a maximum in this year's
30.
Betfred World Championship, they pick up £50,000.
31.
£15,000 for the highest break.
$38.
Well, that's all gone wrong.
He thought he'd deliver the cue well enough to get the top spin on there, but that cue ball bounced back and then just didn't have enough top spin to recover and push through the red. Just the safety.
Yeah, £40,000 for a maximum break and £15,000 for the high break. But that includes the qualifiers, and Alan Taylor had a magnificent 145 break, Steve, which will take a bit of beating. This is not good news for Thepchaiya at the moment. He seems like a rabbit in headlights at present.
One.
Only just able to hold for the black there. It's pretty slick looking cloth. Awkward bridging.
Eight. Nine. $14. 15.
The first frame lasted just over 13 minutes. This one's not going to take too long.
$22. 23. 30. 31.
Playing like it's a practice session at the moment for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
38.
Yeah, he always seems to be able to do that, crowd or no crowd.
$39. $44.
Not enough points there
45.
to make a second century, but he'll be wanting to clear the lot here.
$52. 53. $59.
Just
60.
coming up to 8 minutes for the second frame.
Yes, and it's making the game look ridiculously easy at the moment. And the problem for Thepchaiya, Un-Nooh, is he knows how much of a fantastic bully around the table Ronnie O'Sullivan
65.
is. If Thepchaiya shows weakness, which he has done, Ronnie just pounces.
67.
He loves that type of snooker, as all the great players. Thepchaiya in trouble already in this match.
70. $74. 79.
Played like he's
85.
been playing in an exhibition. Another wonderful break from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
By the way, that second frame was 9 minutes and 4 seconds.
Well, that's a very good break-off shot. Just been playing 22 minutes and 44 seconds and counting. Beautifully judged that. Although the red that he did make contact with might go into the left corner if it's not straight. There's a little bit of angle, but this is a tough one. No. Now where's that red going to finish? It's not bad. They left something easier than this. Yeah, the boys in the studio were talking about percentages, and I remember my first pot black when I met the great Joe Davis. That's what he advised me. He said, you play the percentages of this game, and I suppose it still applies. And he was 20 years undefeated world champion, the great Joe Davis, whose brother Fred played at the Crucible Theatre when he was 70 and got to the semi-final when he was 64 years of age. Fred Davis, a fabulous snooker player. That's another careless one.
Yeah, I wonder how his opponents felt knowing they'd been beaten by somebody with a heating allowance. I don't know if they had them back then, did they?
One.
And straight away, with 4 reds available, it's an early chance. 93% with his pot success rate.
There's the danger that this could turn into a procession for Ronnie O'Sullivan, especially if he keeps Thepchaiya Un-Nooh in his shell, so to speak. Do you get the sense that maybe He's living in the shadow of the greatest, fastest player of all time.
12.
Not that it's that type of shootout. Most more important things at stake. And who's the most naturally
13.
gifted. Obviously, Thepchaiya has an abundance of that. But I don't think anybody could compete with Ronnie O'Sullivan in that department.
20.
Low on the
21.
black. Expect to go into the pack. He's got the red as insurance.
$28. 29.
Looks to be fully focused now. Didn't take long, did it?
36.
As another great name
37.
from the past and 10 times world champion and a commentator for the BBC, John Pullman, he would have said, Ronnie O'Sullivan, he's playing like a symphony orchestra. Although he's come up
42.
a little bit short with this one. Now, what's the kiss going to do here? When you're up on the balk line, still a possibility you could cut the brown in.
Yeah, it's not the hardest shot in the world. You've got an open pocket to play into. But he didn't just pot it, he controlled the cue ball as well. That shows you how
47.
confident he was of getting it in. A lot of players would have just played that plain ball, made sure of the
48.
pot and hoped that they would be on a red. Bit out of position, but quickly back into it. Seems to have got the speed of the table pretty good now.
$51.
So what do you reckon, Dennis? Do you think Ronnie O'Sullivan likes the sort of playing behind closed doors setup?
I just think he enjoys playing snooker. This is a player that was born to play this game.
$65. 66.
There was all sorts of speculation about would it help certain players if the tournament was played behind closed doors. Everybody making a case for players who hadn't actually won the tournament before. Wouldn't it be funny if the player it helped
73.
the most was Ronnie O'Sullivan?
74.
Just blitzed his opponents away as if it was a practice session. Long way to go yet, though.
And just looking at the break there, he's had a yellow, a green, a brown, a blue, a couple of pinks and
80.
6 blacks. He's used the whole of the table here.
81.
Wonderful to watch, and every chance of another century break here.
$87.
So this is about as fast as you can play
88.
without starting to get careless in your setup before each shot. So he's walking around the table, he's more or less dropping on the shot instead of standing behind the shot and then walking into it, which is the
95.
sort of the theory you're supposed to perhaps adopt. But of course, if you play as much as Ronnie O'Sullivan, your intuition for the game is wonderful.
Well, that's another magnificent effort from Ronnie O'Sullivan there.
101.
And his average shot time,
103.
13 seconds, was it? Unbelievable.
$106.
And look at that shot. With the reverse side, by the way.
$110.
And around the houses now to get on the pink.
$115. Foul. Thepchaiya was 6.
Trick.
Wow. The old way of playing the shot was maybe to play to the bottom cushion, get that cue ball tight on the cushion, but it's a risky shot trying to give it a bit more oomph behind the green.
Yeah, I was just thinking when it was on the way around that Thepchaiya will have a bit of a chance here. And then he's finished up snookered.
Not too sure where Thepchaiya's up to at the moment. He's having a bit of a nightmare out there. Thepchaiya's highest break is Ronnie O'Sullivan's foul 6 away.
And look at this, he's unlucky, he's left this red here. And immediately Ronnie back in at the black spot end of the table.
I think there's 5 or 4 reds
8
now that will go without any disturbance of the pack.
9.
And the one on the top cushion.
$16. Ronnie
Has he
O'Sullivan,
got away
16.
with this? Well, there's a red to the middle pocket, but an unexpected miss. You just never expect Ronnie to miss when he's in this form. Come on,
1.
Thepchaiya, let's see you knock a few in here and settle down.
He's got the ability, even if he's been frozen out, to play his natural game.
8.
So let's see what happens.
$9.
Long blue. Not sure where his next red's coming from. Got a bit of an angle.
$14. $15. $20.
Very nicely played there. He's quite a tall lad, and that helps in that sort of situation. And of course, being
21.
as fit as he is, he can get himself into that awkward sort of position to play that shot.
Didn't want to be straight on this. Maybe at a manufacture an angle. Yes. Just had enough room to miss that red.
28.
All things considered, this is a great
29.
response from Thepchaiya and Un-Nooh. Played some fantastic stuff
36.
in the qualifiers, so you'd expect him to be mentally in form.
37.
Well, short on this blue, but he can probably manufacture a positional shot. Good stuff.
42.
Well, you never settle in a match until you get your first frame on the scoreboard. And that's incredible. That was
Thepchaiya Un-Nooh,
a
42.
lapse in concentration. Dear me, that could be costly. If he loses this frame and goes to the mid-session interval 4-0 behind, he'll remember that one.
1.
Yeah, it felt like his body wasn't that rock solid on that shot from Thepchaiya.
7. 8.
Having two reds on the top cushion, it may help to
14.
open them both out than just having one if you were trying to cannon a red out.
15.
Would prefer to cannon them out from the other side. Oh, he really does make light work of
22.
difficult shots. Wanted to try and get perhaps on that black with this red.
$23.
If this drops in, he'll have the angle on the black that
29.
Steve mentioned to then move the two reds, or at least one of them.
30.
Doesn't want to double kiss one of the reds here. And he played it right in between them. As you can see, there's a
37.
little gap, and he almost got right in the middle of that gap. And every
38.
chance now that it's going to be 4-0. I thought it was going to be 3-1, but Thepchaiya missed that sitter, really. It was an easy shot that he missed.
Absolutely brilliant from Ronnie O'Sullivan here.
43.
Destroying Thepchaiya for his mistake.
44.
Total punishment. When you thought maybe he could have got away with it where the balls were. Absolutely clinical.
47.
Thepchaiya's got to go back to the dressing room and
49.
repair the open wounds after this.
$52.
This is unbelievable stuff from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and all done in a matter of 40 minutes.
56. 61. 67.
68. turn things around. Thepchaiya gets it underway. And that might be in behind the yellow again. Not quite, and he's left a possible pot for Ronnie O'Sullivan into the left corner.
Yeah, it's risky if you don't get it behind the baulk colour.
One.
Four nil in front, 5 seconds in front.
If he's straight on this red, it'd be quite comfortable to get on the black, but yeah, no problem. He could just
5.
brush off the other red, and straight away it's an excellent opportunity, it has to be said.
Twelve. 13. 20. 21.
'Not the greatest contact on the
28.
black there. A
29.
little bit out of position. Not much though.
And when he pots this red, it's clearing the path, the red
30.
to the right of the bunch into the opposite corner pocket.
Another masterclass of
35.
break building. Okay, you might think it was an easy break to make, but that cue ball is so much under control,
42.
making every pot look very easy indeed.
43.
It's just the one more loose red.
50.
And
51.
one good split here, and you'd feel the frame would be over. Just gently nudged it away to leave this red potable, and this will open the
58.
remainder of the reds up. Well, that's just
59.
superb. But the side that he had on that, he was guaranteed to be on pink or blue. So Thepchaiya's come out after the interval, trying to feel positive, didn't make the best break-off
60.
shot, and the frame's gone already.
It just hasn't put a foot wrong in this break. It's been amazing. I know we've seen so many breaks from Ronnie O'Sullivan, we get
65.
spoiled by them, but not just the fact that cue ball's been close to the next pot. He's been the correct side of every shot to make that distance
72.
the cue ball's travelling as little as possible.
73.
Look at the break time there, just not even 4.5 minutes.
80.
And that was the reason that he created
81.
history back in 1997 when he made a maximum break in 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
$88.
careless one there. So
Seeing this man in full flow is the greatest sight in world sport that I've experienced.
Well, he's up. I mean, for us, he's up there with the likes of Messi, Ronaldo, you know, Roger Federer. He's one of the top sportsmen ever. You know, without a shadow of a doubt.
Tiger Woods, and then the other thing to add into that, he's absolutely unbelievable with his other hand as well. I mean, it's just scary talented.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a joy to watch. Dennis and Steve.
Well, that was a joy to watch, that long pot from Thepchaiya there. Terrific bit of cueing.
Yeah, there's two ways to go here for Thepchaiya. Not on this shot, but for the rest of the match. Either capitulate and want to get out there as quick as possible, or say, well, I've got nothing to lose, and start to play your own game. Try and let the cue arm flow. He's capable.
4.
You never know. Even though he's that many frames behind, he might start to enjoy the challenge.
Well, that record-breaking maximum break in 5 minutes and 20 seconds, I said, would never be beaten. If anybody could beat it, this player at the table is the one player that could do that. He missed a blank for a 147 on television in the 2015 UK Championship, and then followed it up with a maximum in the 2016 Paul Hunter Classic, and then again in the 2018 English Championship. He could possibly do it, but he's got the speed to do it.
Not this time, obviously. And if he makes mistakes on positional play and whether a ball spots or not, that's another story. He's made a misjudgment there, thinking the pink didn't spot. It's been checked. End of break.
Thepchaiya Un-Nooh 10.
Yeah, 5 minutes and 20 seconds for a 147 break from Ronnie O'Sullivan. I think the second fastest, if I'm correct, is Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6 minutes and 20 around that time as well. I did it a year later, I think, a couple of years later. Not too sure who's going to get even closer. Next closest to that. Could be Thepchaiya's.
Was Cliff Thorburn not as quick as that when Cliff made a bit of snooker history, the first ever maximum break at the Crucible? Who'll ever forget that?
Yeah. Cliff's break-off took 4 minutes.
Well, we don't forget, but I was just going to say, Ronnie O'Sullivan, his safety game is as good as anyone that's ever played the game. He's right up there with the all-time great safety players. Another excellent safety. He won't be taking anything for granted. He'll keep playing this type of snooker until he gets the chance. He won't be just having a go at anything.
Oh.
He had to play that on the thick side to avoid canning into two reds that were the left side of the table. Probably better in the pocket than in amongst the reds, but to show you it again, hit it too thick.
Obviously not allowed to do that deliberately. That would be catered for in the rule book, but it's an interesting one. Thepchaiya got away with that. No damage done. Quite a way out with that. Hard to see him getting back at the moment, isn't it? But there again, it's been the Ronnie O'Sullivan show this afternoon, and it looks like it's continuing. Not been many 10-0s, have there, at the Crucible Theatre in the first round? But,
Well, I can remember a 10-1.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tony Knowles beat
Yeah, right, yeah.
someone with ginger
Yeah,
hair.
yeah,
10 frames to 1.
It's not like a 10-0 though, is it? Ooh, look at that white ball nearly starting to curve back. Yeah, nobody wants to lose 10-0. 10-1's quite acceptable. Yeah, it has been done before. Sean Murphy last year against Liu Honghao. 10-0. John Parrott may have done as well. Who did John Parrott beat 10-0? Surely not.
One.
Oh, that's gone wrong. Oh yes, John Parrott beat the not so steady Eddie Charlton.
Green ball.
So it has been done on 2 occasions.
One.
But you don't really want to see that here. You want to see Thepchaiya get at least a frame on the board. Ronnie will be making it as difficult as possible for him to do that. Another well-played safety. Just hasn't settled.
Yeah, it's not going to happen here for Thepchaiya today, I don't think. And considering he would have played very well in the qualifiers to get here, it'd be a huge disappointment for him.
Yeah, you start feeling a little bit embarrassed out there, even though Ronnie's playing brilliantly.
And perhaps that picture that they showed in the studio of
One.
Thepchaiya's reaction to drawing Ronnie O'Sullivan was for real, not just a sort of bit of fun as a publicity stunt.
Eight. 9.
Beautifully judged. Same again, just
16.
gently screwing black for the black in the middle.
17. $24. 25.
Just got a little message through, Steve. Talked about
27.
the great Cliff Thorburn. He's watching back in Toronto.
He wasn't
Him
listening,
and his
was he?
wife Barbara are watching the snooker in Toronto.
Sorry, Cliff. I know it was only 3.5 minutes for the
28.
break-off. How you doing, mate?
Well, he'll be loving every minute of this. Still plays, Cliff, still does some exhibitions around
35.
Toronto, and he's a world snooker coach now also, is Cliff.
I'll tell you what, you know,
36.
regardless of the talent of Thepchaiya and Un-Nooh, if he had a bit of Cliff Thorburn in him, he wouldn't have made it so easy for Ronnie O'Sullivan today. You can't always play your natural game. Sometimes you have to change. And there's a couple of shots
42.
that Thepchaiya played early on that were picked up upon that may have been
43.
the wrong decisions at the wrong time. That's another art of the game you have to learn. He's let Ronnie O'Sullivan maybe play as well as this.
49.
Of course, there are other players in the tournament who maybe wouldn't
50.
make it so easy.
That's the
58.
frame safe again.
$65. $66.
Well, this match will be played to a conclusion tomorrow morning. And how many
73.
frames are there going to be? And listen, they're all flying in, even an unusual double into the corner.
And the thing is,
76.
okay, it's easy to play with the other guys not responded, but even so, what a standard he's produced.
76.
And sacked, you know, he's going to go on and win tournaments, but he's made look like an amateur. Look, even his break off there is made look like an amateur today, you know, because of the brilliance of O'Sullivan and the intimidation that O'Sullivan is portraying on him.
Absolutely. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Thepchaiya 6-0.
Yeah, he's made a few very poor break-off shots, and they're so important, especially against an opponent like this. You just expect him to pot everything, don't you? But he's not leaving easy starters for Thepchaiya. Yeah, well done.
1. Other side.
He's got the green to get back up to the reds, but it's not straightforward. He's just looking to see if he could get on one to the left corner there.
Of course, that's the other thing, isn't it, Dennis? All of a sudden, there's problems seem to be around that maybe if you were in front you wouldn't see, but you start to see even positional problems.
This looks a bit pacey, needs to pull up, and it's not going to. If it had been a bit more pacey, he would have been okay, but he played to leave the one that was nearest the pocket, and it was awkward to get
6.
on.
You assume this red doesn't go past the black. It must be tight. Well, he was shaking his head earlier. It flew in.
7.
Be nice to maybe leave himself lower on this red so he could open the pack. Chose not to. Could have played it like that.
14.
Unless that other red goes as well.
15.
Tougher to split the pack off the back cushion. Great effort.
Well, that's one of the best
Yeah.
splits I've seen from that angle. It was played
22.
superbly well. Such an awkward pack, but look how he spread the reds. Come on, Thepchaiya, let's see you win the
23.
frame at this visit.
Well, it's a fantastic effort from Thepchaiya, especially as he looked
30.
really despondent in his chair at the end of that frame.
31. $38. 39. 45. 46.
Just brushing the
53.
little chalk marks off the cloth there. And once again, into that very awkward position.
54. 61. 62.
Well, it looks as if he's going to clinch his first frame with one scoring visit. Still needs a few more pots though, and he's finished just a little awkward. Just needs the one more red.
69.
And this is quite a thin snick. No, I think it got a kick also there because it seemed to straighten up a little bit.
69.
It was the shot where he finished awkward on the black there. That definitely kicked because the red has straightened up. That wasn't a bad shot. That was unfortunate, heavy contact. Well, only taking the opportunity to develop a few reds, which has sacrificed good position. This is far from easy. Oh, now can he get past the blue to the red? He may have to swerve it.
8.
You don't often see Ronnie react, but
Some 3-ball plant down the side cushion.
he's got to swerve it. He's got to be careful the white doesn't follow the red in if he gets too much.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 8.
It was such a great pot on the black to cut it in. He was a bit unlucky really to cover the red.
It was a bit unlucky that the cue ball found its way to the top cushion.
One.
Well, he can relax a little bit, Steve.
He's double checking the scores just to actually believe it's true. He's going to win a frame.
But he shot in the middle of this break where he potted the black and split the reds up. That was one of the best splits I've seen from that position. Superbly played.
4.
Doesn't matter about running out of position
11.
there.
The frame.
Well, it's a half chance that Ronnie has left there. It seems as if he's trying to get in behind the green rather than on the cushion, Steve, from the break-off.
Definitely the case. Both players trying to do that. Obviously, the closer to the green you can get, the more of a blocking area it covers. Been disappointed to have missed that.
Foul.
Maybe taken his foot off the gas, or rather lost the momentum. 9 frames in this session. Thepchaiya would absolutely love to come out of the session 6-3. I'm sure Ronnie would settle for 7-2.
Well, goodness gracious, what was that, Thepchaiya? Tried to be very delicate with it. I didn't detect any bad contact. That just was a bad shot.
One. Seven. Eight. Fourteen. 15.
I'm lucky this time.
20.
Split didn't work out. Bit unfortunate. He wanted to hit that red full ball, but it still looked as if he'd be on one.
Yeah, it was a tough shot to guarantee hitting full in the face. Nice little judgment swerve there, although
21.
makes a more difficult colour. Lost position here though. Unavoidable collision with the red after potting the pink.
27.
What can he say? Does that just go? Oh, that's tight. If he was right behind it, yes, but not from the jaws of the middle pocket. Made to look very easy
20.
indeed. Something to be said, Dennis, for playing with the fluency, even for a shot that's very difficult. Once you've made your mind up, play it like it's
34.
just another shot, instead of building yourself up to something that's missable and getting yourself in all of a mess over it.
He just sees the shot so quickly.
35.
And, as I say, he ran out of position, pulled that little swerve shot, out to pot the red, then he was on the cushion, rolled the colour in. I remember some seasons back when he was doing a little bit of work with the great Ray Reardon, 6 times champion.
40.
And he started making breaks the old-fashioned way, where he was just chipping them out 1 and 2 at a time. But as you said, I think he's lost
Ronnie
just a
O'Sullivan,
little
40.
bit of focus at the moment.
And he was just wrong-sided on the blue and had to leave himself a bit more distance. You can't get every one of those, can you?
Mind you, I looked at that replay and the red seemed to jump.
Yeah, may have bounced.
Meanwhile, Thepchaiya ran out of position immediately.
Yeah, I mean, he may have got a kick on it, although there was no reaction that it was a kick. No reaction from Ronnie anyway. We could see
Thepchaiya, Un-Nooh, 1.
the red jump in the air a fraction. This red looks like it's potable into the middle pocket, doesn't it? It's a tough one.
Yeah, you'd need to be right in behind it just to roll that in. Oh, has he fluked it? Oh, dear me.
1.
Never rains, but it pours.
Yeah. It's not so much the fluke, as you say, Dennis, it's what you do afterwards.
But isn't it funny not having a reaction from a crowd when someone flukes like that? That would have brought the house down, that fluke.
4.
I think the decision to have the crowd reaction for the end of the frame or a century break has been made by World Snooker. So somebody up there in Sheffield is pressing the button when required. Of course, the next level is somebody
9.
pressing the button for different types of things. That would be a mad world, wouldn't it, we live in?
They would need to know a little bit about the game to press the buttons. I wonder if our old buddy Martin Clark, one of the tournament directors, could be doing that.
And we could have a button for crisp packets, all sorts of things. Mobile phones have been mentioned.
30.
Going back to the old black and white films with the guy playing the organ.
What are you talking about, Steve? Anyway, another frame slips by.
90. 20.
Frame well and truly over. And it's not that Thepchaiya didn't have
26.
a chance in this frame. He had a couple of opportunities, but he's still not with it.
Yeah, John Ronnie's just completely putting the boot in after the fluke here.
Tell you what, our referee's doing a fabulous job here. It's so quick, this Marcel Egghardt is looking after this match superbly well. It's not easy for the referee with that sort of pace. 13 seconds and 17 seconds. Doesn't matter about the red.
41.
That's another from it. And as they say, it never rains till it pours, and that's exactly what's happening out there at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, back we go. You two okay now?
Oh, we're back to normal, Jason. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be with the mute button to be okay, wouldn't it? We should give each other 2 mute buttons each.
That's a wonderful pot there.
1.
It's not only the pot, it's where he leaves the cue ball. I mean, a lot of players play it as a shot to nothing, but he purposely leaves it short of the baulk line.
first to 10. If he wins this frame, more or less job done for Ronnie O'Sullivan in the first session.
You could hear a little bit of a groan from Ronnie. He knew straight away there that he'd mishit that one. Positional wise, it'll still go in the middle pocket and safely in. So he played for the black in the corner, didn't get it correctly, and then just stroked that in the middle pocket as if it was a gimme.
Not ideal on the blue. There's one red at the bottom of the pack. Maybe goes into the left corner.
19.
But of course, if he can get on the blue right, may choose some type of
20.
Split of the pack. Possibly with the pink being just a fraction away from the apex red. He chose not to play for the blue.
The chalk fell out of his pocket and the white almost careered into it. He just got it away in time there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 23.
Yeah, it's interesting with that chalk when he goes through the shot. He gets so much speed in his cue that that arm going all the way through punches the chalk out of the pocket. It's amazing. It happened on his 147 break. I think it was on the blue, I think. Knocked it out, left it on the floor. End of break though. Now what can Thepchaiya salvage? 7-2, maybe you've got a chance. Chance for Ronnie O'Sullivan here. Hand on the table.
One.
Never in doubt, was it? Didn't really get that cue ball moving through the reds as he sometimes does, but he's got enough space.
No.
Nicely judged. Same shot again going into the reds. Trying to win the frame in one visit.
16.
Which he has
17.
done throughout this session. Started it with a century break and another century in frame 3. He had an 85 in frame 2, 88 in frame 5, 76 in frame 6. Just one visit. Snooker,
24.
the 5 times world champion.
25.
All done in super quick time. The match time just over an hour and 20 minutes. And he's still at 13 seconds for his average shot.
32. 33. 40.
Well, he's got to come back tomorrow and somehow
41.
try and make a comeback, but it's virtually impossible for this talented Thai player that we never really seen getting going. Just the one frame where he
48.
made a 69 break.
49. 56. 57. 64.
Well, he
65.
started with the century. Well, maybe he won't be finishing with the one now that he cannoned the pink. This would be some shot if he was to pot the pink and get to the two reds. There's a possibility he could cut it in the middle. He got to the reds, okay. He got the cannon, but not the
65.
pink. But
And
what
frame.
an
8-1 lead. And you have to say, Stephen, this was billed as a big match, but there was only one horse running yesterday in a two-horse race.
Yeah, I think if there's lots of people tuning in to see a session of Ronnie O'Sullivan, I hope they're in their chairs now, because this might not last long. 2 frames out of the 9 yesterday, over 10 minutes. Average speed 13 seconds a shot, which is just outrageous. But the biggest thing for me, John, is, to me, Ronnie looks good in himself. I think a lot of these down the years, he's turned up and he looks a bit dishevelled. He said he's got viruses and that, but he looks good. And I think that's a dangerous sign for the other players.
Yeah, it may very well. We were talking in the studio yesterday about it. It may very well be that no crowd, no razzmatazz going on, just coming into the venue, nobody outside, not pestered for selfies or autographs. Might just be something that really suits him, because he does get a lot of attention, that's for sure. He didn't half hit the ball well yesterday. I mean, Thepchaiya unfortunately set his own agenda by being a little bit loose early on in the match. Had a couple of half chances, then forced the issue, and Ronnie was just saying thank you very much. But he still had to do it, and he was very, very good in the break building department.
Yeah, that was a few players were saying, or a few people were saying as well, that this was one of the toughest draws. I didn't think so. I think Thepchaiya was made for Ronnie, the way he plays. You know, the speed he plays at, plays an open game. I think there's no way, you know, Ronnie's out his comfort zone playing against Thepchaiya.
Yeah, I was when I actually did the draw, so he's probably got me to thank for picking out against Ronnie O'Sullivan. He won't be enjoying me particularly. I was thinking it was more for the attractive side of it, really. The fact that 2 players get on. I was always obviously fancying Ronnie to win, but it was just, hopefully you're going to see 2 players doing the stuff. But yesterday it was all about one man.
I mean, straight away he's played 2 of the most beautiful safety shots in terms of pace. The first one was played with check side. That one was played with also just a touch of check side, just to straighten the cue ball up. Very rarely ever plays a safety shot without any
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
side. Ronnie O'Sullivan, you'll very rarely see him play a plain ball shot. He's always trying to manufacture the cue ball around angles.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed for Thepchaiya, not just with the scoreline, but just the fact he didn't really show everybody what he's capable of doing. We've seen him a few times, obviously, on the television, and 9-9 with Judd Trump last year. He pots the first red in the last frame. Stephen didn't land on a colour, so that could have been a different story. But he's extremely talented. We just didn't see much of it yesterday.
Oh, it's not. Thepchaiya is a brilliant, brilliant snooker player. He is just so talented. I love watching him play. And yeah, last year, I think he potted a red, I think, split the reds open, but then the cue ball landed just past the bulk line, and he didn't have a colour. If he lands in a colour, Judd Trump probably wouldn't be world champion.
Yep, such margins. He certainly had a great game with Judd, and he's not been lucky with the draw, I have to be said. The 3 times he's qualified with the draw, he's had Judd Trump, who went on to win it last year, John Higgins, who's won the championship 4 times, and now he's got Ronnie O'Sullivan, so he can consider himself a little bit unfortunate.
I overhit that slightly, but it seemed to come off the cushion quite quickly, that safety shot from Thepchaiya. That's the first mistake that might cost him. Again, on a beautiful drag, touch a check side.
1.
I mean, these need pure strikes. You know, you can't decelerate on those shots. It makes it look very easy.
Free.
Actually hard to believe when you see him playing as well as he did yesterday that it's, well, 6 years since he's been in the final. 7 years since he's won it. Amazing to think with that amount of talent that he's got. But as you said earlier, he's not always looked right, has he, coming to the venue sometimes?
You know, last year, I think they said he wasn't well, and in the second session turned
8.
up with his head shaved, and just didn't look right generally. But to me, he looks good. He looks up for it. Looks like he's enjoying playing. And it's obviously with a situation, there's not been a lot of snooker. He wasn't in the Tour Championship, so maybe he's just enjoying playing snooker. But he's overcut that one. That was a slight decel there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 9.
But yeah, I mean, we all love playing snooker. Maybe he's just missed playing snooker and he's enjoying being back.
Yeah, very much the case. Thought this might have still gone even a little bit wide. Yeah, maybe not. So an unexpected chance for Thepchaiya.
1. Six. 7.
Looks wonderfully fluent when he plays, and of course I always think left-handers look really attractive at snooker. Some great left-handers over the years, certainly quite a few in this tournament. Left-handers always look
14.
brilliant. Jimmy Whites and your Mark
15.
Williamses and people like that.
He's got an angle. He could go into the 4 reds below the black here. It's a bit of a forcing shot. But and chose just to try and promote that red towards the corner pocket, which he has done. But yeah, it's very
22.
It's very simple the way Thepchaiya plays. Just gets in. He just wants to pop balls and clear the table. But that's probably why he's not ranked higher than he is with the talent he's got. He just puts too many of them shots in. I know he's 8-1 down and it's not easy, but generally when I watch him play, he's always got an easy miss in him for me. Whereas if he cut that out, he'd be a force. Just concentration. But we have to cut him some slack, because coming out against Ronnie O'Sullivan at 8-1 down, you can go one of two ways actually. You can free your arm and think, okay, I'm going to get beat, I'll just enjoy it and just relax, or you can just think, well, you know, play like a beaten man.
Thanks. 1. Eight.
Reds are in the open, absolutely no problem, you would think, for Ronnie. Just a cluster of 4, but they're also in a good spot when he does come round to having an angle. And he will be able to promote them. Like now. How's your luck? Does that red sneak past the other one?
16.
Lovely. And worked out beautifully. Frame at his mercy now.
$24. 25. $32.
And quite simply, we want to get this match over with as quickly as possible.
33.
Go back home for a few days before he returns for his next match, where he'll take on a player who's knocked him out here before, in Ding Junhui. Although Ding will have to up his standards and his concentration
38.
levels against Ronnie from his first match.
Yeah, his scoring looked good, Ding. It was an awkward opponent he had in Mark King, very tough to beat. But mouth-watering clash, that'll be Ronnie versus Ding. Be a break building clinic. If ever you wanted to learn the art of break building, just watch that match. 2 of the best in the game.
47.
I have to say, it's the first time in, well, from whenever I can remember, Ronnie O'Sullivan hasn't been made favourite by the bookmakers. In general, 9-2, 4-1, 5-1 shot in places. On this form,
55.
That's the wrong price. Looking very good. Of course, he'll have sterner opposition as the tournament goes on. You'd expect it. It is the World Championship after all. But as for Ronnie, he's hitting it lovely.
60. 61.
Yeah. Just supreme cue ball control. Just amusing himself
66.
playing some left-handed shots. This is not disrespect to his opponent in any way. He just
68.
just feels like doing it.
Yeah, I remember when he first started doing that, Stephen. You remember he played Alain Robidoux, and Alain Robidoux thought he was being disrespectful to him and taking the mickey, but you know, I don't know where that came from. I mean, if someone started playing left-handed against me and they were right-handed, I'd say carry on, son. I wouldn't be bothered. But
the thing is, the first couple of shots he wasn't being disrespectful. Then he knew that Alain had the ump, and then he did do it deliberately after that, which was even funnier.
That's why we mentioned him, you know, and he said, Alan mentioned at the start that, you know, the most talented sportsman you can meet, and I agree. I mean, listen, there's brilliant sportsmen in other sports, but how many of them are so good with an opposite hand? I mean, 75. It's just scary that he can be that good left-handed. I mean, I think he'd probably be, would he be a top 16 player left-handed? Wouldn't be far away.
80.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but he'd be, yeah, he'd be a force.
86.
Thepchaiya, Un-Nooh. Breaking off at 9-1 behind. Just wants to get out the venue now, I would think. Oh, great shot. Oh, that is just the shot of the match so far. That is wonderful. To hit it as good as that and finish in that position is class. What a shot.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue it's a lot easier to play the shot at 9-1 up than if the match was very close, but it's still just a beautiful snooker shot. It really is.
9.
And then low on this red at the bottom of the pack. And, well, does he want to finish this match in style?
You haven't called the M word early on, have you? You're not calling one of those. You got 2 blacks.
16.
If this works out.
17.
He was only managed to bring 1 red out, but he'll be thinking it. Again, beautiful shot.
24.
Yeah, well, he played a few shots left-handed in the last frame to, as you mentioned, amuse himself. Maybe he can amuse himself with an attempted maximum break. Well, it won't be a maximum, but he'll be very happy to see that red
32.
go over the middle. And there's been some quick matches at the Crucible over the years. That's your
33.
quickest match, is 2 hours and 29 minutes and Sean Murphy's first round win. But this one is only 1 hour 36 so far. So at the break off here, he had 55 minutes to break it. I suspect it'll probably go. Yep, that hair appointment you had at 11 o'clock. I think you're going to make it, Stephen.
35. 36.
Oh, a little careless one. Didn't play to go into the bunch there.
41.
This looks to be pretty straight in this red. Let's force it round off 2 cushions.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 41.
A little bit irritated at that. He would have wanted to finish the match there and then.
Slightly too thick, but as ever in this wonderful game we play, when it's all going your way, you get a good run of the balls as well. Raise of the hand there from Ronnie. Didn't play a good shot at all there. And look where the cue balls ended up. He's 9-1 down and now he plays safe. In fairness to him, that's all he had there. It was just, we mentioned yesterday in the opening exchanges, maybe 1 or 2 safety shots might have been prudent, just to try and get a foothold in it, but easy after the event. Top of the table there from Ronnie. Good shot, that.
Fallen in this. Thepchaiya. No, bring it up, please, Thepchaiya. Okay. How far? How far, please? Okay. This way, isn't it? Yeah. Yep, spot on. Yeah, can I have a look? Okay, Thepchaiya.
Another good shot again. Well, I had a similar shot into the other middle early on in the match, which I was criticising him about, but I wouldn't blame him going for this one. 9-1 down. Why not? I thought he was taking the other red that was inside of that one, but that was a good pot. So a couple of good safeties as he played there. It's actually forced a mistake from Ronnie. Well, this is terrible with the cue ball.
Fine.
Such a margin there.
Thepchaiya No 5.
Superb. Lovely shot. As I say, 9-1 down. Don't blame him for having a go at that. Now it's a point of no return, and that's the only red that he could see.
One.
The end is nigh.
7.
Another 21 points.
8.
There's your match time, and he's definitely going to beat easily 2 hours and easily beat the record set by Sean Murphy previously.
15. 16.
It's been a comprehensive performance. Okay, you say he's been helped a little bit by his opponent, but as you said earlier, John, you've still got to do it, and he's looked very focused. As I said earlier, he looks
23.
good generally. He looks healthy, and it looks like he's enjoying it.
24.
To me, it looks like he wants to stay out there for another couple of hours playing.
$31. 32.
And sets us up, of course, for a very good second round encounter.
39.
Ronnie O'Sullivan and Ding Junhui. That should be
40.
well worth watching. I totally agree with Stephen. That should be a cue ball masterclass.
But the guy you're watching now on your screen, he is an artist with the cue ball. There's no one to touch him.
48.
I still think it's a difference between him and Trump. That argument on social media, who's the best, and as Ronnie misses the black, it won't matter.
48. Final match.
An absolutely dominant performance in the first round, and he beats Thepchaiya Un-Nooh 10 frames to 1.
In between shots, if we can see how many people are still in. Whether we have any cameras. Remember, this isn't the same as a full OB that you'll be enjoying from Saturday onwards. Jake Hayworth said he reckoned it was about 20 minutes between yellow and green being potted.
So we're saying blue on that, and feeling a little sorry for everyone, really. David Gilbert's finished on the right side of a decision. Of course, he got a bad one in the shootout that cost him. Fergal, well, and I feel bad for the referee. I honestly think that was a tough one. Really do.
Well, I suppose, you know, the moment's gone, and
well, it has.
It is what it is.
It has gone, but I tell you, that was a brutally hard snooker to hit. There was only a bit of the green sticking out. There's every chance that match could have been over on that shot alone, because it could have kept being put back. I don't even think that should have been called a miss. I mean, I don't know what would have happened if it had been called a foul. There's people here.
I thought you were going to come out with the famous World Cup line. People on the pitch, they think it's all over. Well, I wonder how many people out there realise they've witnessed a world record.
Where the other balls are on the table. This 14-point lead's huge. This could end up a 2-hour frame.
Yeah, quite a few people are saying Gilbert deserved a little bit of luck after what happened at the shootout. Dan writes in and asks, have we left the EU yet?
Yes, my dad's texted me he's have to go to bed. He's not been so well, my dad, and he said he didn't want to get ill again. Won't go into the details of it, but he said he's got to go to bed, so he's not watching the end of it. He's going to be taking the dog out in the morning for a walk of some description, I think.
Barry Pinches has sent me another tweet saying, I can't believe my record's gone. I'll be trying even harder to get on tour so I can have another crack at 110 minutes. I can't, honestly, we have enjoyed so much drama over the last 2 days, and we've had some interesting tweets coming in, but we have never had as many tweets. I mean, I don't have a giant amount of followers, and the notification section is updating constantly with people tweeting about this frame.
Yes, it's got people very interested, and if the angry farmer can knock this in, it would certainly help matters, because oh dear, it's just not happening for him, is it?
Well, I asked you this earlier, and I know these guys are professional, but they've got to be shattered. 3 best of 19s. I know Dave had a walkover with the personal tragedy with Patrick Wallace. Reece Clark 10-6. It's coming up to 11:30. Gilbert's got to be tired, and so too Fergal. When you bear in mind that Fergal was here till 2:30 Monday night / Tuesday morning, the fatigue has got to be playing a role here.
Well, that was an extremely good shot, and there's more problems here. Fergal has actually played some good shots on these colours. Now, there shouldn't be a miss called if he doesn't make contact this time. Because there'll be 22 in it if it's a 4-point penalty. So that won't be called as a miss. People are saying marriages have lasted less time than we've been in this commentary box. Now here's a very important shot here, Rob. This could be match over if this doesn't work out. It's a very difficult snooker that he's in. The cue ball could go straight into the top right pocket if he's not careful here. So this is the shot of the night. He's played it absolutely magnificently.
That is brilliant. Look at where he's left the cue ball as well.
That is just a brilliant shot. A brilliant shot. He looked in all sorts of trouble there.
That was absolutely superb. When you bear in mind how long this frame has been going and how tired he must be mentally, that was sensational.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't have played that any better. People are saying give these guys some credit. Dominic James Brown, let's give these guys credit. It's been some granite safety. Viewing numbers on Facebook have gone up and up. It's unbelievable how long this frame is. People are watching this. It's tremendous.
That was absolutely brilliant, that shot.
Tony Proctor saying Gilbert did not play the escape on the brown like that. Well, what do you think he played exactly? I think he played it exactly like that, personally. If he didn't play that, what could he have played? The only other thing would have been to play to pot it. I think he played it just like that.
Warwick Snooker Club have just sent in an amusing tweet saying, Rob, has anybody there got a £1 coin for the table light?
Well, since we've been in here, there's a different £1 coin in circulation, actually. All our money is no longer valid. It's all out of date, everything. I don't know, we might get to see that shot again, I'm thinking. I think that is exactly what he played. A gentleman, Tony Proctor, who has got a view, fair enough. We're not going to fall out over it. He thinks he didn't play that shot on the brown. I think it's exactly what he played. Here it is. I think he played it around of 2-3 cushions like this. I think that's exactly what he played. I wonder if any of the other snooker pros watching would give me their view on that shot. I think it was a brilliant shot. One or two people think it was lucky. I think it was one of the best escapes out of snooker I've seen for a long, long time. Kingy out there, Joe Perry, Pinches, Selt, if you're watching, Mr. Murphy, Stuart Bingham, anyone else I've forgotten, Mike Dunn. Let me know what you think of that shot. I think he played it out of this world.
It looked like I'm nowhere near as educated as you, Neil. It looked like an absolutely sensational shot, bearing in mind the fatigue that he would be experiencing. Alex Aboyle says, 1 hour on the colours alone, lads. Imagine that.
Well, it is extraordinary, and that was, I think, a stunning shot. So let's see what people are saying. Hit and hope, says Tony Proctor. I don't know. I think it was a great shot. He played it definitely, says Jamie O'Neill. He's a snooker player. Selt says it was a great shot, no question. Thanks, Matthew. Matt Selt. I do think it was a brilliant shot. And Gareth Allen, Gaz Allen, hope you well. Different gravy, that escape. Yep. Sean Murphy is saying something. What is Sean saying? Definitely played it. Great shot. I completely agree.
No,
Gary Lees, he knows the game. He's a player. He said he played it. Mark Allen. Good evening to Mark Allen. Didn't know you were watching, Mark. Definitely played it. Awesome escape. Absolutely stunning shot. Stunning shot. He was in... I thought that there was the most likely outcome of that shot was the cue balls to go straight in the pocket because you're almost playing in such an area that you go in the middle of it. Holty, he should have got the brown tied to the black rail. Bad shot. He's joking. He knows it was a great shot. And then we've got Mike Dunn. I think he called it bang on. He played it. To be honest, he hit it great. That's Mike Dunn, snooker professional. No, Tony Proctor says he's wrong then. No, it's his opinion. It's fine. The midwife thinks he hit it directly off one cushion. I don't know. I think it was a wonderful shot.
Well, in the context of the match, it must be getting hard to concentrate when the frame's gone an hour on the colours alone. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal.
Lee P has sent the message, what a time to be alive. That sounds like sarcasm.
Somebody, I can't tell whether this is male or female, Steph, could. Do they know I have an exam tomorrow? Please tell them I'm in Montenegro. So they're watching in all sorts of corners of the world.
I tell you, I had one from Bob Harris, an old friend of mine from many years ago. Hope you're well, Bob, down in Portsmouth. He says he couldn't have played it like that because the in-off was on. I think he means he played it the way that he got.
Chris Lincoln says, have we gone past the marathon record yet? I can tell you the marathon world record is held by Dennis Kimetto, 2:02.57 from Berlin a couple of years ago. So if we get close to 2 hours, then 2:02.57 becomes a possibility. We got Lewis is out there waiting for this. In fact, he's fallen asleep. Our social media guru just closed his eyes temporarily there. I think he was just daydreaming with his eyes open. We need to keep our eye out here to see if we get close to 2:02.57. Dennis Kimetto's marathon world record over 26.2. Warren says we're hitting the 2 hour mark now.
Well, I think we are. I mean, obviously there was that toilet break.
Does that count or not?
No, that's not included.
Right, okay, so the headline is, I've now had so many notifications coming through, I've lost the name of the person who asked the question, but 2:02.57 is the answer.
Okay, well, in the meantime, we turn our attentions to the table again because this is a very important shot here from David Gilbert. Does he try? He's got the point now where it means almost too much to these guys, where they're almost frightened to play any shots. I understand that. I know the game, and I know that you sometimes feel like that. You know, it starts to
Oh!
No, but he's got there's a a good side to it, isn't there?
Yeah, he got the snooker.
Well, I think that we could be one shot away from this match ending here. So even though we're hitting 2 hours of this match, this is even more trouble than the previous that he's in here. He's in absolutely Shredsville here. If he misses this, it won't be a miss, but it won't matter about that. Let's see how he goes. Has he hit it? Oh, he's... Oh, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. He's played it brilliantly. How he's not potted it, I'll never know. I'll never know how that didn't go in.
Fraz and James both separately say hello. Fraz says he's been watching for hours. That is so tough there on Dave Gilbert. This is not a scenario where you want to be doing an interview with a losing player.
No, and of course this is frame ball, match ball. I don't know if we've passed 2 hours now, have we, of play? Because that is an absolutely humongously long frame if it is. A 2 hour frame of snooker, goodness me. Well, Fergal now has got the point where David Gilbert needs a snooker. Now, I wonder if they know how long this frame's lasted. The great world final of '85 was over an hour long frame, and neither Dennis Taylor nor Steve Davis realised it was that long. Oh yes, well that's it now.